Good morning, everyone. I am Wendy Cannell, the Director of Training and Leadership Development here at Wisconsin Farm Bureau, and I coordinate the state's Young Farmer and Agriculturist program. And I'm happy to be here today to talk a little bit about our Excellence in Ag Award. For those of you who are interested in applying, those applications are due on July the 9th by 4:00 p.m. So make sure that you are able to access the application and can apply by that time. We've moved to a new online format, and that's what a lot of this webinar is going to be about today. Looking at the new online format and giving you some of those tips and tricks to help you be successful in completing that application. If you have any questions throughout the application process, you're definitely more than welcome to give me a call, send an email, or contact your district coordinator or your state YFA representative from your district. If they don't know the answers, we can work together to answer any questions that you might have. So as a reminder, the Excellence in Ag Award is for those members ages 18 to 35 who make a majority of their income from non-production agriculture or do not assume any production agriculture risk. So if you are a teacher, a veterinarian, really anybody who makes their income from non-production agriculture, any production agriculture risk, this application is for you. You just have to have a vested interest in agriculture, be active in your community, in Farm Bureau, and you would definitely be an excellent candidate. So I'm going to go through the new online application process and show you some of the resources that we have available. This shouldn't take too long. It'll probably be about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you haven't been to the new Farm Bureau website, I definitely encourage you to do so. Same web address, WFBF.com. When you go to the website, you need to find programs, find Young Farmer and Agriculturist, and then there is a YFA contest tab. So you want to click on YFA contests. Today we're talking about Excellence in Ag, so you'll click on Excellence in Ag. And here's where you'll find a variety of resources in the actual application. So there's a description of the those who qualify to apply. You're going to notice this big red bar, and that's actually this year's application. And so when you are ready to apply, what you're going to do is go ahead and click on the big red bar. It's actually going to take you to another website, something we use called FormSite. The first page are all of the rules of the contest. And I think a lot of times we forget to actually take the opportunity to read the rules. And so you're definitely going to want to take a look at those and make sure you are completing the application correctly. Like it says in the rules, again, online applications must be completed by Monday, July the 9th, no later than 4:00 p.m. We also have a signature page, so you and your County Farm Bureau president need to sign that signature page, and that needs to be returned to the Farm Bureau office no later than July 31st, and I will show you where you can get a copy of that signature page. These presentation guidelines are for our final 4 contestants only, and we'll be sending those out after we announce the final 4, and so I'll work closely with the final 4 contestants to give them all of the rules and regulations of putting together their presentations. So read through the rules, look at the scoring, and then what you're going to want to do is hit next. And then that's actually going to take you to the application. The first page is just your general information, so that's pretty easy to fill out. One of the things that we really like about the new online application is that you can start your application online. Let's say you want to do maybe 1 page per day or 1 page per week. You can create an account or log in. So if you are coming to the application site for the first time, you would need to create a username and a password, give your email address, and hit submit. When you come back to the application, what you would do is hit this button again, and then you're going to use your username and password that you created the last time, hit submit, and it's going to take you back to the application that you already started. So no need to fill the application all out in one sitting. You can fill it out whenever you have time. So that's a really great asset for all of you who will be completing the application. I'm going to go off of this site to show you some of the resources and give you some tips and tricks for filling out the application because we do have the application in Word format. So we put on the website right here, the Excellence in Ag Word document to be used for spelling and grammar only. If you want to complete the application in this Word document and then copy and paste it into the actual online form, you are more than welcome to do that. And so the same rules and everything are on the Word document, just basic information on the first page. It's important to remember that you need to write in first person narrative. And so what does that mean? When you're writing in first person narrative, you're writing it as I, we, if you're applying as a couple for this award. And so make sure that you are putting your application in first person format. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize because they miss that in the rules is that you can't have any state identifiers. And why is that? I know that this is just our state contest, but we have a short turnaround when we go to apply for American Farm Bureau. So state identifiers are anything that lists Wisconsin. Our Young Farmer and Agriculturist program really could be listed as YFNR. Your county farm bureau, anything that might be able to identify you as a person and your location. And so that takes away any bias that a judge might have. So you're going to notice in the Word document, it's going to have the approximate number of characters. On the online form, you are limited to that number of characters. So if you go over, you'll have to trim your statements, your answers to those questions. So the beginning is very simple, just your personal background and your agricultural involvement. How are you involved in agriculture? You're going to talk about the first one, explain your occupation, what do you do, and then explain your personal involvement in agriculture. So let's say that you are very active in Farm Bureau, you're active within your community, but you do not have a job in agriculture. That does not limit you to applying to this award. So you can explain your occupation, but then also explain your involvement in agriculture. What is your impact on agriculture? When you complete this section, my biggest suggestion to you is really be creative and think about all of the ways that you impact agriculture. Is it just within the job that you have? Is it within the community organizations that you support? Is it within Farm Bureau? So really be creative in this section. I know it's only 2,500 characters, so you will have to be concise, but try to be creative as well. The next section is where you need to list 3 issues that are important to agriculture. So if you think about all of the applications that we get, a lot of times we'll see a lot of common themes with the issues that are important to agriculture. And so really another opportunity for you to be creative, think outside of the box, and really think, what are ways that you can address those issues in agriculture? So you need to list them, explain them, and that's all within the next 5 years. You're then going to go on and pick one of those areas and talk about how you personally can address the issue or work toward the solution. The important thing to remember in this section is to remember that this is a Farm Bureau contest. So how can you personally address the issue? How can you, as a Farm Bureau member, address the issue? What are some creative solutions that you have for this? Remember, creativity is really, really important. What's going to make you stand out from the other contestants that we are going to have within the contest? You're then going to list your goals. It's important here to note that it's your goals in the next 5 years related to your career, your Farm Bureau involvement, and involvement in other organizations. My recommendation would be to split that up. First, list your career goals, your Farm Bureau involvement goals, and then other organizational goals. And I know you've probably heard this a million times that SMART goals are really, really important. And that is absolutely true in this application as well. Even though it says within the next 5 years, so that would take us to about 2023, it's important to tell us, when will you reach that goal? How will you obtain that goal using SMART goals? So is it specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and is it timely? Think about those things and include those in your application. You're then going to list your leadership experience. Your leadership experience needs to be since you've been 18. So while we appreciate all of your experiences in high school and before that, this application is for our young farmer members, and that's ages 18 plus. So anything that has happened from age 18 on can be included in the application. It's important to note the format here. You're going to want to keep that format. That format's going to be important because you can get points deducted based upon the format, and so make sure that you do include that in the format. So really, if you've participated in something, taken on a leadership role, that needs to be included. Don't be afraid about including anything in this section, because that is what you need to do. Really make yourself stand out and include anything that might be applicable. Sometimes it's easier to talk about these sections with maybe people from your county farm bureau or maybe your district coordinator that you've worked with. They can help you develop some ideas of what can be included, because you might not be thinking of things that you could include, but they have helped you participate in something or can recognize that you can be involved in something. So you need to list first your Farm Bureau leadership roles on the local level. Then your Farm Bureau leadership roles are opportunities at the state and national level. Then agricultural leadership roles, so any other agricultural organizations you might be a part of. And then last but not least, your community involvement. And so once again, this is the Word document, but the Word document is exactly the same as the online application, and all applications need to be submitted online. We will not be accepting any paper applications this year. So when you are all finished, you've filled out your application and got it all done, you do need to submit the signature page. So we have the signature page here. Really, you can just type in all of your information, the first page of the application. Make sure you sign, your county farm bureau president signs. We know what county you're from. Why is this important? First and foremost, we're just making sure that you are telling us that everything that you submitted is correct. And then also your County Farm Bureau president signs, just recognizing that you did apply for the award. If you are in the top 4 for Wisconsin Farm Bureau, you will be, and have not gone on the YFA DC fly-in, you will be eligible to attend that trip, and we're asking that County Farm Bureaus help sponsor you. And so this is just the go-ahead that the County Farm Bureau will indeed sponsor you to go on that DC fly-in. So this signature page is just a minor part of the application. We really do need that back from you. And the deadline for that will be July the 31st. So you can submit your application online, and then you'll have some extra time to get that county president's signature to make sure that you get that in. So we did provide some other information for you. We have the Excellence in Ag Tips for Success. I already talked about not using any identifiers in the application. Your application must be completed in first person. You're limited to the number of characters. We talked about that. Be concise and try not to include a lot of fluff, because even though you're like, oh, this definitely can't be 5,000 characters, 5,000 characters isn't that many characters to kind of tell your story. And so that will be important. We talked about standing out in the issues facing agriculture section, and we talked about those SMART goals. Spelling and grammar are also important, and so that's why we provided the Word document where you will have the opportunity to type it into the Word document if you want and do some spelling and grammar check before you put it in the online application. We talked a little bit about the leadership section. Anything that you volunteered for, an event you participated in, include that. The application must be completed online, and the deadline is July the 9th. So just a few keys and tips for success, which are located on the website. And another great resource are the Excellence in Ag sample applications. So they might vary just a little bit from the application that we have because they're from several years ago, but these are some really great examples of applications. And so if you take a look at the application sample number 2 and go down to the goals section, this is exactly what we need to see in the goals section. You know, they're giving a date, they're telling specifically what they're going to do, what their objectives are. It's really important to be specific and really outline what your goals are going to be. So if you look at sample number 2, this is a great example of what the goals should actually look like and how they could read. I know you might not like writing SMART goals, but that's definitely what we need in this application. And so that application is available. There's another application as well to kind of get an idea of what information should be or could be included within your application. So don't forget to take a look at those because those are going to be a really, really great resource for you. So again, just to kind of wrap up here, the 2018 Excellence in Ag Award application will be online this year. So make sure you start your application enough in advance. We have the signature page, the actual Word document, which can be used for spelling and grammar, the tips for success, and then those sample applications. So like I said at the beginning of the webinar, if you have any questions, need any additional information or help, please let us know. Contact me, contact your district YFA representative, or contact your district coordinator. They'd be happy to help you get those questions answered to make sure that you have the best application possible. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and we wish you the best of luck during this application season. Remember, July 9th, 4 o'clock.